Hey, hi, welcome to the third part of day 2 of the DP workshop. And if you have been following all the previous videos, what we are learning today is how to print solutions in DP, right? So the problem that we were dealing with is this, how to print the solutions. And we had kind of this particular formulation where we now have few different queries of this kind, and we need to not just find if, but find a subset. So we need to print a subset, right? We have few different queries over here. So we're gonna drop the few different queries, or we can keep it as well. It doesn't really matter, but we need to print a subset now. So how does this happen, right? How does this work? So let's try to understand it through this example and try to realize what is happening even in the DP calls itself. So when we call DP of, let's say, 1 comma, like when the level is over here, and we are left to create, let's say, something like, let's say, 3, right, or 16. Let's say we are left to create a with 16. So we have to create with 16. Now there are two options over here. If you don't take it, and if you take it, then you're gonna reach DP of 2 comma, you're gonna be over here, and you need to create 15 out of the rest of the items. And if you don't take it, you are at DP of 2 and you have to create 16 out of the rest of the item, right? Then over here we know that, like, if you have to create 15, you cannot do it with these items. So this is going to result in, let's say, I'm just going to assume that this is going to make some more calls over here, but these are all going to return false, and this is going to return false. This is not going to be possible. So this will return 0. Okay. But this side, what is going to happen is it is going to return, this is going to explore more. So we're going to get into, let's say, it's gonna, if you don't take it, so you're gonna reach DP of 3 comma 16 again, and if you take it, then you're gonna reach DP of 3 comma, if you take it, then you are reaching 14. Okay, now if you don't take 2, you are left with only 14, so you cannot make 16. So this branch is like will do computations, but it will return 0. Okay, and then this branch over here is gonna like go further. So we can try not taking things. 4 comma 14, if you take it, then you're going to reach DP of 4 comma 9, and this branch is obviously going to terminate and return 0, right? And like it's going to go further, but it's going to return 0 for sure, because we're going to need to reach n plus 1. But this is going to return 0, this is going to return 0. But this side we are all still exploring. So maybe if you take the item, take, and don't take, okay, in that case, this is going to return into DP of 5 comma 0, which is possible. So this is what will return 1. This is again, then since this is a, and this side will return 0, because it's not possible to create 9 out of thin air. So since it's an OR, so this will get 1. Since this is an OR, this will get 1. Since this is an OR, this will get 1. And since this is an OR, this will return 1 finally. That's how we are getting a subset of 16. Now the thing is, we need to print the subset which is creating the subset, right? Which is creating the sum 16. So let's think about starting from over here again, right? This returned 1, which means it was possible. Okay. Now, if it is possible, then either of the branch should be 1, right? Let's say this is 1 and this is 0. So what do you think we should do with the first item? Should we take it or should we not? Since the branch with don't take is giving us 1 and the other branch is giving us 0, we should not take it, not take the first item. So for the first item, we know we should not take it. Since we did not take it, we know that we are going to get into this branch. Over here, we know that there are two branches, and at the two item, the branch of taken is giving us 1. So at 2, we should take the item and we should grow this branch. Now we are at this formulation. Again, over here, taking is giving us a 1. So for 3, we should take the item and we should go to this particular state. At this state, since this is giving us 1, we can take this item again. So 4, we take. And now you can see that not take, this is going to give us the way in which the solution set could be created. What if we have a certain particular state which has both of them as 1? Okay. What if we have both of them as 1? So in that case, there are multiple solutions. You can explore any one of them. It's up to you, whichever one you want to explore. That whichever one might give you the solution, you can try any one of them. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So this is what we are dealing with. We are interested in finding the solution of this by just traversing this whole recursion track that is getting formed into the path that is actually leading to the final one. So how did the final one come in? Through this one. So go this way. How did this one come into place? This one go into this play, this play, this play, and then in those path from this to this, what was the corresponding action? What was the corresponding choice? That's what gives you the corresponding set over here. Okay, so that's how we will do it. But again, this is all conceptual, nothing much makes sense, so we're gonna understand this in code. So there are two different key ideas in which you can kind of trace the transitions that lead to the final value. We can recheck the values and then get the one that is working, or else we can save something as back pointers. So there are multiple ways to do these things. I will maybe explain back pointers, saving the back pointers at places where we have multiple different transitions. So let's say there are a lot of different transitions. So when you are computing the answer for the first time, you can save which transition led to the optimal value, like 1 or highest value, maximum, minimum, and things like that. And that transition can be saved in a separate array, like just like DP. But what we would be doing is a very simple way, which is rechecking the whole flow. So that's what I'm going to code, and we can understand the rest of the things in code itself. Okay. So how do we print the solution? That's the main thing. So I'm going to write a separate function. So if this is there, if it is possible, if recurrence of this is possible, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna print. So print set, and we're gonna pass 1 comma t. So we're gonna print the set starting from the state 1 comma t. Void print set integer. Keep the same state formulation over here. We are starting at this state, okay, over here, okay, and we know that this is true because we have checked that it returned true, right? So we know that this is true. Now, how did this get its true value? From this particular level and left, okay, we first write the base case. Again, if level is equal to n plus 1, which means we are done with all the items. In that case, we will just simply return because we are done with the whole flow, okay, except that find the correct transition. So we'll paste the code over here. So from this level comma left, if this is 1, if recurrence of level plus 1 comma left, which is essentially the transition for don't take, and this is the transition for take, if this is 1, right, what we can do is we can not take this item, right? So for this item, we will not take it, and we will explore the option that print set beyond this particular state. So we don't take this item, go to the next level, and from there, whatever we need to do that, okay? If you take this item, what we can do is we can print this item. I'm printing over here, you can keep it in a vector as well. Print the item at the level. So we will do x of level, we'll print the item, and then we will go to the corresponding state which is generating the solution. So this set. So what we just did was over here, we are at this state, we are at, let's say, this state. It got, this side was 0, so we didn't go this way. This side was 1, so what we did was, it is actually to take. So take the item at third place, which is this one. So it will print 5, and it will go to print 4 comma 9. So it will print the solution thereafter. At 4 comma 9, it's again 1 this side. So it will print 9, and it will then go over here. This is the base case, n equal to 5, we will stop. So the way it will work is, it will not print 1, it will print 2 over here, it will print 5 over here, it will print 9 over here, and you will get the set in your code. Okay. So that's how you can find out the set if you want to. Let me go back to the code. And once you have printed the set, we can see out an endl, or else we can print see out, let's say something like no solution. Right, this is what I think should work. Okay, so let's quickly run this code once and see how this is working on the sample cases. So I just removed, so there was this int n which was over here that needs to be removed, and I mistyped some rec over here, so I just converted that to level. Now when we like kind of quickly run this one on one of our samples, let's see what happens over here. And I think it would be wise to print where these goes, but okay, let's first do it. Let's check if it's working fine. 5 9 3. For 3 the set is 1 2. For 4 the set is no solution, and for 16 it would be 2 5 9, right? The way it's working is that it's going through the states, so we can print out the states level, left, right, and then this is, let's write something over here, and this is printer at this state. Okay, we need a semicolon over here, and then let's go back and do the same thing. So what we do is we have 4 items, 1 2 5 9, and then we have 3 queries. Then when we do 3, we are at state 1 with the sum required as 3. It's taking the first item, so it's printing 1, and we now need to do 2 and print 2. Okay, so it's taking the second item, which is 2, and then it's printing from 3 we need to make a 0. Since it's not taking the next item, it goes to 4 0 and it's not taking it. At 5 0 it's going and not taking it, and then this is a base case, n equal to n plus 1, level equal to n plus 1, so it's breaking over there. Similarly, if I do a 4, immediately itself, like the recurrence call over here gives you a false, so it prints nothing, no solution, it goes into this branch. And if you print, let's say 16, what is happening is that at 1 we need to make a sum of 16. So at that case, don't take branch gives you a true, but take branch gives you a false. So you go into this side, and it goes into, from 2 you need to make a 16, and then it takes the 2 and it goes to 3 and you need to make a 16. From at index 3 it takes it and it makes 4 to 9, you have to make a 9. So at 4 you take a 9, and from 5 you need to make a 0, so which is fine, and we print a 9 plus 1. So this is how you print the things. So you need to see how did the current state gets its optimal value using the transitions. Whichever transition made that optimal value over here, you need to follow that transition, and that is what action you will have to take for this particular item. Whatever it was, take, not take, whatever it is, depending on the problem, right? So that's how you print solutions. I think we will see more such examples going forward, and you will realize how we can do this even for other things. But yeah, this is mostly how to print solutions in case you ever get this in test. In fact, recently a lot of online assessments of some companies happen to have like printing solutions over there as well. So this is a good skill to pick up now, right? So that will be all for this particular video. I hope you understood all these ideas of printing solutions. Now, what we have understood is the framework, and we have solved some problem. From the next video, what we'll be doing is we'll be solving more problems in multiple different forms. In fact, we need to unlock more forms. So that would be the main thing that we do tomorrow, that we would be understanding a lot of new forms that would help you to solve more problems, and then we'll do mixed practice, right? So that's all for this today. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and if you like this particular video, do like hit a like button, and write down in the comments if you need something more, if there is something unclear. The doubt session that will happen tonight will contain we will go through the comments and we'll answer any question that is there. And if you have anything else to mention as well, feel free to do that, right? I'd be more than happy to know about things. Do support making more such content by likes and commenting, right? That is what YouTube helps. That's how YouTube can be made through for a content creator, right? So that's all. I think that would be all from my side. Very, very hectic to make these videos. We'll be making the day 3 one next, right? That will be all. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.